And Commissioners, again,
No. Thank you. I appreciate it.
and this is for
Are you
the,
Miss Johnson?
I am, it is a pleasure to meet you in person.
that'll be the
This is for the
16th.
moratorium, there were a couple of typos, so I kind of highlighted.
That's a BOC meeting
Thank
anyway,
you.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
so we'll come back at 6 o'clock again that day.
Are
Okay.
you our PM?
I am.
Okay, I found a couple of typos, so I corrected that for the.
what's that? 21. We're gonna remove number
That
21.
resolution you are adding,
Mhm.
and I put a number on it for you.
You can. Which one is that, please? 21, alcohol license.
You may have a different agenda.
That's okay, your version is the better version.
Mine is the better one?
Yeah,
Okay,
because we got rid of that one.
okay, okay,
This is the one the people out there have and the one I sent out.
okay,
The only difference, this page is different than the one you have in your book.
okay. So we're moving 21. Okay. Good afternoon. We want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for being here tonight. Today is January the 19th, 2021. I want to go ahead and call this meeting to order tonight. Our thought for today: the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in the moment of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at the time of challenge and controversy. That's Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Tonight we're going to have our invocation tonight. We're going to ask, we'll ask Commissioner Sanders if she would lead us in our prayer tonight, and we're going to ask Commissioner Cowan if he would lead us in our pledge tonight.
May we bow our heads, please? Father God, I thank you for this opportunity to be here to serve your people, because we are public servants for your people, to guide them in the right direction and to do what is right. I also ask that you let the words of our mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in our sight, for you are our strength and our Redeemer. Lord, let us come together as one on one accord, because we are your children. In Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. I want to thank Commissioner Sanders and Commissioner Cowan for that. Thank you, ma'am. Next on the agenda is the agenda adoption. Got a couple of changes here tonight. We want to add 16A. 16A is a resolution for film in the state of Georgia. It just says the Newton County support film. The resolution number is R01192A. R01192A. And also we want to remove item number 21. Remove item number 21. Commissioners, if there's nothing else, I seek a motion that we approve the agenda, please. Can I get a second, please?
I second.
It's been motioned by Commissioner Mason and second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? It passed 4-1. Thank you. Next on the agenda is citizens' comments. This is an opportunity that we allow citizens to make comments about agenda topics only. You have 3 minutes to do so. You may come at this time. Agenda topics only. Agenda topics only. Please state your name, your address for the record, please.
Good afternoon. Archie Shepherd, 9169 Village Drive, Covington, Georgia. 30014. Mr. Chairman, I just have a couple of questions I need to ask, and it's on the agenda in order, about the county manager's, recommendation and whatnot. Do the, county manager get with the commissioners when all of these, county managers, considerations discussed and everything? Because a lot of commissioners seem like if you ask them a question about something, they said that they was unaware of it. And these, some of these things come up and they're not aware of them until they get to the meeting and whatnot. So can you give a little clarification on that? The county commissioner, do he make all the decisions without consulting the commissioners or whatnot? Because the question was asked for me to find out tonight, and that's what I want to find out.
Well, we normally don't respond to that question, but I'm just gonna tell you tonight, that's not correct.
Okay,
Yeah, that's not correct.
it's not correct.
No, sir.
All of y'all are consulted.
Commissioners get a package before
Okay.
they come to the board meetings,
Okay.
days before.
Okay, the other question I was asked,
But you,
that is on the committee. This is on the
Okay.
agenda.
okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, while I'm up here, there's one other question I need to ask, and this is not on the agenda. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to. How do people, the citizens, get in contact with you? They said they never could get a call back or anything. How do they get in contact with you? Because most officials, citizens should be able to get in contact with you or whatnot.
Get in contact with me.
Yes. They say
Wow.
you never return a call or whatnot. So I'm just asking a question. I had about
So what
60
I do,
people.
I answer that question after the board meeting.
Okay. And the other thing is, I'm
Is
gonna
it-
bring it up.
Is it on the agenda tonight?
Yeah, okay.
What number is it?
I appreciate that. And
What number is it on the agenda tonight?
What about this?
Your next question, what number?
It was 17, the one that I was speaking about the recommendation from the county chairman, number 17, 18, and 19. Those are the questions I wanted to ask.
Thank you, sir.
And also, while I'm here, the appointment of committee members or whatnot, I just want to let you know I received about 80 calls concerning how y'all did Mrs. Sanders at the last meeting, tried to rotate
Sir,
that
I'm gonna have to
around.
ask you to sit down, please. Thank you. Anyone else would like to make comments? Guys, I'm gonna remind y'all, before we go any further, and I don't care who you are, it doesn't matter to me who you are. This is not gonna be a dog and pony show here at this boardroom. I don't care who you are. If you got a problem with it, tell them Chairman Banks said so. But this boardroom is gonna be conducted as a meeting room. (2021) is gonna be conducted as a meeting room. I'm telling you now, if you're not gonna conduct it that way, you're gonna be asked to leave. So I hope that's clear. Mr. Shepherd, I answer any question you have for me after the board meeting, sir. Thank you. Anyone else would like to make citizen comments at this time? Anyone else? Thank you. Next, we will have the chairman's report. Tonight, we have with us Dr. Little from Piedmont Newton. He's going to come today and give us an update. Sir, if you would, please come and address the board. Thank you so much for being here tonight and giving the board an update. Thank you, sir.
All right. Good evening, Chairman Baines and commissioners. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to you about the current situation in our community with COVID-19, and just to give you a brief update. Of course, as we know, we've been battling this pandemic since mid-March of last year. And briefly, historically, for our community, as we began that process at the hospital in March of last year, we, of course, like most medical facilities, restricted services and visitation and so forth. And we really didn't see, we had COVID patients, but we really didn't see a significant rise in the volume of those patients at that time. And so we resumed our care for all patients in late April, May, as well as visitation in the hospital. We did see a brief surge of COVID in our facility in the early July timeframe, which resulted in a good number of hospitalizations. And after that, things were relatively quiet in our community. Though, however, since Thanksgiving, along with most of all of Georgia and our country, have seen a very, very significant increase in the number of these patients that contract COVID and then go on to require hospitalization. And so, that has been a challenge to our medical community and our hospital, but we have continued to provide services to all patients that come to Piedmont Newton, regardless of their diagnosis or need. And that's our mission to the citizens of this community. We actually commend our community. I will tell you that if you look at the state of Georgia Department of Health website, our prevalence of COVID in our county is half of what some of our neighbors have been, and that has been a good thing. This disease is a disease that for most people is not a big deal. They get it, they get over it, and they're fine. But if they're high risk, and those high risk patients would include the elderly, patients with chronic medical conditions, it can be a devastating illness and result in severe illness, hospitalization, and death. And so we appreciate the efforts of our community to encourage the safe activities in regard to hand washing and social distancing and mask wearing. We know from our experience at the hospital that those efforts truly protect people. So we've been able to provide care for patients with COVID without seeing those patients spread COVID to our staff and employees. And so we know that those measures really do work, and we want to encourage that until we come out on the other side of this disease. We also are rolling out vaccinations. We have been able to vaccinate large numbers of our frontline workers in terms of our healthcare staff at the hospital, which helps to keep them safe. We think this vaccine is both safe and effective. I know that if you look at the news media, there are occasional reports of adverse effects that may occur, but we think those are quite rare, and we have not really seen them in our own experience. Piedmont, as a system, is also rolling out mass vaccination clinics to the high-risk patient populations of our communities, and we're also have been cooperating with the Department of Public Health in terms of our efforts to vaccinate those high-risk individuals as well. Overall, the pandemic has certainly challenged our resources. I would be remiss if I did not say people were a bit weary and tired and have been working a great deal in order to provide care for the patients of our community. But we have been able to fulfill the mission that we have, which is to care for all patients with all conditions that come. I am asked sometimes, we are on, sometimes hospitals are on diversion. There's some confusion over what diversion means. And diversion just means that out-of-county ambulances should not bring their patients to our facility. Now, that doesn't stop them necessarily, but that's basically what that means. So if they have another option or another choice at another facility, but all of our patients in our community that need care with our own ambulance service are certainly brought to Piedmont Newton if it's appropriate. And we see all patients that come to our emergency rooms for care and provide the care that they need in relationship to the problem that they have. So we also wanted just to express thanks to our community. Our community in Covington and Newton County has been extremely supportive of the hospital with their thoughts and well wishes and prayers and snacks and meals and all kinds of things that they have done. And so we want to express our great appreciation for the members of our community as we have moved through this over the last many months. And I'm certainly willing to answer any specific questions that you might have in relationship to this.
Thank you. First, Dr. Little, thank you for inviting the board out last year and to give us a tour and to put the word out that it is safe to come to the hospital. So we greatly thank you for that. Commissioners, guys, I know there's a lot of questions that we want to ask him tonight. Please don't hit him with 5 questions at one time. But listen, I understand. Everybody got some questions that we want to ask him tonight. We're going to start off, Commissioner Henderson. He had his hand up first, Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you. Just one main questions. We understand that, well, first off, thank you for your service. We know that that's a very
Tough.
heavy job that you have. But it's getting the vaccine from the vaccine from the bottle to the patients. I've had several people come to my office and say, JC, where do I go and get it? And then he called and said, well, we're not distributing vaccine shots at this time or whatever. So what type of hotline do Newton County have, us, in ensuring that the citizens, the old citizens who most of the world, who want to get the shot, who are eligible, how can they, or what can they do in order to get in line to get their shots? And how many shots do we have available? And how many shots have we already, given to people?
So, the vaccination for COVID is a complicated vaccine for a variety of reasons. One is there's more than one manufacturer and there's more than one vaccine. And the second one is that it's a 2-dose vaccination. And so and each one of them has a different time interval. So the logistics of this are quite complex, both in terms of administering it and tracking it, and then, because it's not just the first one, you have to get them back in also for the second dose of vaccine. So currently, the locations for access for vaccine are with the Public Health Department, and they're running regular vaccination clinics as they get allocated vaccine supply. So my encouragement to folks is to check with all these sources every day if you're looking for one, because the appointments fill up. The other source, Piedmont so all systems are given an allocation for their patient population. So, Piedmont's, we sort of say, well, the patients that we care for, we have this many patients, and so the government sends us that much vaccine for the patients that we provide care for. Not hospital patients, but more like in the physician offices, clinic patients. So that's another source. If you have a Piedmont physician, you can access vaccinations that way. I was told today by Dr. Arona from the Department of Public Health that Publix now is running vaccination programs, as well as one of the other big box grocery stores. I can't remember which one it is currently, but I would check with those locations, and it's going, until we get more supply, it's going to be groups, and then they have to restock their vaccination, and then you do the next group. So it's one of those things you have to check for almost on a daily basis in order to sign up. But I know many people that have been doing that, and they've been able to make an appointment to get vaccinated, either through Publix, Kroger, the Public Health Department, Piedmont, and the other resources that are available currently.
Anyone else? No? Okay. Okay. But JC had the main question. He answered, yeah. Dr. Little, thank you so much. Dr. Little do more than just being a doctor in our community. He does a whole lot more. And thank you for all that you do, and thank you all the boards that you sit on. Thank you so much, and thank you for help keeping this community safe.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for your support and the work that you do for our community, and we appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, Mr. Kerr for the county manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've just got a few slides. I'm going to be brief this evening. First slide we've got is our total hires and separations for the month. Our total employee population's at 709. This does include the temporary employees that we hire, as well as the seasonal election workers. As you can see, is we got quite a few of those. So, but we had 10 separations and 10 new hires. Next, please. And we looked at our work orders for the past month, and you can see how they've been distributed there. District 1 with 55, 2, 34, 3, 41, 4, 44, and 5, 67. We've also done some deep patching on Boogers Hill Road. We've been working on continuing to repair the sidewalks in Riverwalk Farms. This was a project that we've been underway for a little while. These sidewalks had been buckling, and because of some very large trees that have been planted in a right-of-way, and so that's a continuing project. And in the Trelawney subdivision, as well as we're installing the roundabout on the FFA Camp Road and helping them with constructing a security facility, guard shack facility there to help them to secure their facility whenever they have school functions and all down there. The next slide is an update, and you heard from our hospital administrator who talked to you about the COVID-19 cases, and these are just some of the some information that we pulled off of the website, the Gwinnett Newton Rockdale Health Department website, and you can see those numbers for yourself. Next slide, please. You can see, again, we have increased our numbers, but we aren't quite as bad as some of the other counties, but we do, and we are trying to do the best that we can in order to try to keep those numbers down. And the final slide is simply just reminding everybody, of course, to wear your face coverings when you can, avoid crowds, and you know, to make sure that you sanitize your hands as frequently as possible. Those are all things that will help to lessen the spread. Once the vaccines do become available, we'll be giving that, or more widely available, if you will, we'll be giving some more of that information out. There are some available now. I believe there's a distribution point in Rockdale. We are looking at a distribution point here, or the health department's looking at another distribution point in Newton County. Currently, they are available at the health department for certain people in, I think it's Tier 1B, which are those people who are 65 or older, and those with chronic health care issues. But for more information on that right now, I would recommend everybody contact the health department to give you more in-depth information on that. It is in limited supply, but the information that we've been getting is that those supplies soon will be in far greater availability than they are currently. So, and that's all I had tonight, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kerr. Next is old business, information services, discussion, consideration of request and approval of security vendor. Mr. Kerr?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you all recall, we did table this from our last meeting, and I've asked Greg to be here with us tonight to explain a little bit about this. We had tabled it because there was not, I did not have a dollar amount for that agreement, and Greg can explain this type of agreement a little bit more to you and tell you what it does entail. And actually, there is no dollar amount attached to this agreement, so I'll let Greg explain to you.
Good evening. Yeah,
Good evening.
All this service level agreement stipulates is how we contact this vendor for support and what their levels of service are. I presented this document to Sam Van Valkenburg back on Tuesday, December the 15th, and his response was that he was basically fine with this agreement, given that we have an existing service contract with this vendor that addresses all of our usual legal contracting requirements. He did want to give us a moment of pause about one clause in the contract that says, JSCM Group reserves the right to modify and update this agreement at any time. I would just keep an eye out for any future modifications that seem unreasonable. This agreement will be updated on an annual basis. He also stipulated that this agreement will need to be approved by the BOC at the next meeting. That would be January the 5th, signed by Chairman Baines. If time is of the essence, I would be comfortable with the chairman signing now and having the agreement ratified by the BOC in January.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Guys, any questions tonight? Any questions? Thank you. I seek a motion, please. Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Motion to approve approval of security vendor service level agreement as stated by Mr.
Greg, man.
Yes.
Greg, man.
Great man.
Yes.
Thank
Greg
you.
Mann.
Can I get a second, please? It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Cowan. Any discussion? All in favor? It passes 5-0. Thank you. Next is the approval of the consent agenda. Commissioners, you had an opportunity to look at the consent agenda. I seek a motion of approval, please. Thank you, sir. Can I get a second, please? It's been motioned by Commissioner Mason and second by Commissioner Henderson. Any discussion? All in favor? It passed 5-0. Thank you much. Next is finance. Ms. Brittany, ma'am, if you would please come up tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Tonight I will be presenting the December 2020 financials. December is the 6th month of our fiscal year, so we should be looking to be trending around 50% of our budget at this point in the year. So the first slide I'm going to review is our general fund revenues. So for the month of December, we brought in $5.9 million in revenues. And so far this year, we've brought in around $49 million in revenues, which is 64.38% of our revenue budget. And that is higher than the 50% because we have seen a big portion of our first payment of the tax bills due that has already come in. And this graph shows the monthly revenues for the year. And now I'll discuss the general fund expenditures. Our month-to-date expenditures for the general fund were $5.6 million. Our year-to-date is $34 million. So that puts us at right around 45% of our expenditures for the year. So we're trending right around where we should be this time of year. And this graph shows our revenues for the month. And as you can see, we were pretty consistent with our November expenditures in December. And so far to date, this year, we've brought in the 49 million in revenues and 34.3 in expenditures. So this time of year, we're 14.6 over our revenues from expenditures, but as the year goes on, you'll see that decline because our revenues drastically slow down once our last taxes are due in December. And this is our 3 enterprise funds. So for the year, our water fund has brought in 5 million in revenue, and they have spent 3.1 million. Our solid waste fund has brought in 4.1 million in revenues, and they have spent 2.4 million in expenses. And our Gaithers fund has brought in 185,000 in revenues, and they've spent 135. So all of our 3 enterprise funds are operating in a positive, so that's good for this time of year for them. And the 3 graphs below show our actuals to date. And we still currently have 3 SPLOST open. Our 05 SPLOST has 52,000 remaining, and we'll make one more debt service payment with that. Our 2011 SPLOST has 1.1 million remaining, and that's mainly to finish up Fire Station 8 and then the historic jail project as well. And our 2017 SPLOST currently does have several ongoing projects. Our current balance in the SPLOST is 10.4 million. Our SPLOST collections for the month of November were 1.3 million, so right now we are trending roughly 10 million over our anticipated collections. And our impact fee fund currently has 2.5 million in the fund balance, and we have spent to date 173,000 in expenditures, and that was spent in the Parks and Recs project. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Brittany. Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Brittany. So can revenues this year over last, are they tracking kind of the same?
Our loss collections are tracking around roughly 8 to 12% higher than they were last year. We still haven't got our December distribution from the tax commissioner yet, so I don't want to speak on property taxes yet until we get that.
Thank you. Thank you, Brittany. Thank
Anyone
you, Mr. Chairman.
else? Thank you. Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lord, and this is the Lord. I know that we recently took the recreation department and we put it in-house. So what happens, where's the funds that they have accumulated over the years, and where might I find that at?
Brittany, would you?
They still have one more audit to go through as the Recreation Commission. I just received the draft today. So once their audit is complete and we get their final and we get their trial balance, then we'll know how much they have in reserves, and then we'll work out a plan as to what to do with that. So I would say probably within the next 30 days or so, we should know how much we have and what we're going to do to utilize
Thank
that.
you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Brittany. Brittany, the next one is yours too.
In your packet, there should be a budget transfer, and this budget transfer is to move money from the contingency for new positions for 2 positions that were hired since I last brought a contingency budget transfer to you. And those 2 positions were a stormwater position in planning and zoning, and then as well as a deputy position in the sheriff's department. And then we're also wanting to utilize $200,000 of savings that we have in this line to hire 2 temporary road crews to pick up the trash on the side of the road. And that will be 2 5-man crews, so that's a total of 10 temporary positions for the remainder of the year, and that should cost around $200,000. And we do have savings from positions that have not been filled that we had budgeted for to be filled earlier in the year. And this spreadsheet that I had attached to the back of the transfer kind of shows the savings and where those savings are come from. So if you have any questions specifically about any of this, I'll be happy to answer it.
So Brittany, I want to make sure that we clarify that that $200,000 that would go towards picking up trash and hiring people to do that.
It would be contract labor, so it would be hiring contract laborers through a temporary agency. These will not be full-time positions.
Okay. All right. Any questions, Commissioners? Commissioner Sanders.
How long will we be utilizing this contract labor?
This is through just the end of the year, and then we would need to incorporate that into the next budget cycle for FY 2022 if we wanted to continue.
Well, most, I'm sorry.
Mr. Kerr.
Most likely we'll continue, and the idea is to continue the program. And we'll most likely we would continue that program with temporary contract labor as opposed to bringing people on to the payroll. In the long run, it does save us some money to do that. And then this is the type of job we'd have high turnover in. And so most likely we would continue it with temporary people.
Are there any funds from solid waste that can assist with this from the authority? Remember some of the suggestions that I sent over to you from the citizens?
I did talk to Kevin Walter, the director, the landfill director. He did seem to think that there may be some funds available, but that, of course, would be a decision but from the Solid Waste Authority as to whether or not they wanted to use any of the funding towards this. Historically, the trash pickup has fallen to Public Works. As a part of Public Works, they've always worked with, in the past when the inmate labor has been available, they've worked with the sheriff to kind of schedule and that sort of thing. So that would, he said he thought there might be some money available, but we really haven't discussed exactly how much. And since that would be Solid Waste Authority, we've not, I'm going to leave that to him to approach Solid Waste Authority on that.
Because I know they have a meeting on Thursday, so we can kind of talk to them about that, because the citizens were concerned about the additional funds added on for personnel. So that was, they had some suggestions about the convenience center, utilizing that, so we can assist with the cost of that.
Yeah, they were, there were some of the public, I think, has sent in some things, and we took a look at those.
So I think one of the big issues going to be, Commissioner, is that I know the Solid Waste Authority wanted to contribute, and actually we had discussed it at one of our meetings. But I think we're going to, I don't even think it's been released yet, but I think that we got to do a new sale, and the bids came in higher than what we thought they was going to be. And so I think it's like over $1 million. So I don't know now if the Solid Waste Authority will be able to actually contribute funds to that. But I think the method we're doing now, as long as this is going to go over into the budget, right, Mr. Kirk?
Right. We're gonna work this into our budget for next year. Yes, it'll be part of the budget.
Okay.
And I like to see that as being a permanent part of our budget. Will be a trash program with the county. Yeah.
So I think this is probably going to be one of our best options as of now, to make sure that we keep the roads and stuff clean.
My last question, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. So we got one in front of you, Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, as a member of the Solid Waste Authority and a BOC member, we have heard from the citizens of the county about the trash and the embarrassment it is right now, to be honest with you. So, thank you for being innovative with our budget and finding ways to get this done. I can tell you, in the future, if this plays out, and another option is, I think the city of Covington is they're paying their regular employees overtime to pick up trash. I think is what they got going. So, would our employees want to do that? I don't know. Could we afford that? I don't know. But just a thought. So, but I appreciate the efforts either way. It's getting bad. Thank you.
I know one thing. I know we got to make sure we keep this community clean. We cannot ride in Rockdale, and you ride through Rockdale and you don't see trash all over the roadways, and you ride through Henry County and you don't see it. And you come to Newton County and that's what you see. So whatever it takes, that's what we got to make sure we do. Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think one of the things that we talked about when we were changing it to the Solid Waste Authority was about the convenience centers and how much they said, whoa, they just saying, they ain't making a, hey, people bring the trash to the community centers. Now, when you got half of them closed down, they take and throw it on the side of the road. And now I was looking where we were advertising for somebody, and I think you may have mentioned it, to go out and start picking up trash on the side of the road. So I think we just jumped. And then, you know, unless somebody help me, I mean, maybe it's just me. Is there any accountability? I mean, if you want to know how much money was being spent, if you want to see the meetings that they were having, there's nothing on TV or nothing on Facebook where you could see it, I don't believe. And if it is, it should be have a larger audience. And I think that's really not a good service that we're providing for the citizens of Newton County that we're having to pay. And then we're going to end up having to subsidize more taxpayers' dollars just to get this straight with no accountability. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Sanders.
Just to echo what Commissioner Henderson stating, that's one of the issues because the trash is on the side of the roads. It's not trash that would pick up by a private collector. These are couches, tires, stuff that people normally used to be able to bring to convenience center. But now there's a fee assessed to it. They're just throwing it wherever they can find the space. So there has to be, as he stated, some accountability because there wasn't any standard operating procedure put in place on how we were going to turn this over. If we would have did a process versus just automatically charging the citizens for this convenience center, we would have had a better plan in place, and we wouldn't be having the issues that we're having right now.
Anyone else? Thank you. So, Brittany, you need a motion, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Guys, we need a motion to approve these budget transfers. Commissioner Mason, I'm sorry.
No, second.
Okay. It's been motioned by Commissioner Mason, excuse me, and second by Commissioner Edwards. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? It passes 3-2. Wow. Next is item number 12, Family Connection requesting the Newton County Board of Commissioners to serve as the fiscal agent for 2022. Mr. Kerr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since 1998, we've acted as the fiscal agent for the Family Connection, and so they're simply asking to continue that relationship. Essentially, we act as a pass-through for them to receive funds from the state, and then we pass them through to them. As a part of that, there's certain record keeping that we have to do to make available for state inspection, certain reports that we have to provide for the state, so that's what this request is for us to continue that that relationship. They do provide quite a bit of service to various organizations and families within the county, so we do believe it's and deem that a worthwhile activity for us to continue. We also do this for a couple of other organizations within the county as well.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, I seek a motion, please.
So moved as stated by the county manager.
Thank you, sir. It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards. Can I get a second, please? It's been second by Commissioner Cowan. Any discussion? All in favor? It passes 5-0. Thank you. Next is item number 13, the coroner's office discussion, consideration of safety, training, equipment, and supplies. We have our coroner here tonight. She's gonna explain what her acts. Come on.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm gonna take my mask off, is that okay? I can take it off while I'm right here?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, thank you. Good evening, everyone, Chairman Bangs, commissioners, and other guests that's sitting before me. It's an honor and pleasure to be standing here. My concerns, this is January the 19th, I've been in office for 19 days. I worked 456 hours. I touched 81 cases thus far. I actually took 24 death calls, 1 motor vehicle accident that was fatality, no seatbelt, 23 was natural causes. So I've been pretty busy. Saturday alone, I had 8 death calls. Within 45 minutes of parting, there was only one person, that was me. It's unacceptable to have one person to run Newton County with 120,000 citizens. Once again, 120,000 citizens, one coroner, that's unacceptable. As I stand here today, training for the coroner, along with myself, will be February the 8th. We'll go for that entire week. Also, I have someone coming from another county to host and make sure that we're covered in the time that I am away to get my training. Also, I would like to make sure that I get my other deputies in the training as well. That's Hill, also Parks, and Bailey. During those 456 hours, each one of those ladies has been standing beside my side each time I went on these calls. I have wrote not one check to pay these ladies. And they, like they told me, Ms. Bailey Butts, I'm with you. It's about integrity, making sure that we take care of Newton. And that's what we're standing for. So I'm asking that we approve my training budget. The Georgia Coroner Board Association state that you pay $175 times 5 days per person. My team said they're gonna waive that $175. They said just pay for the training and pay for their hotel fee. Everything else, mileage, $175 per day, they're gonna waive that because it's not about the money. It's about making sure we get trained and making sure we can serve everyone in Newton County. Not this side, that side, everybody at one time. So those fees would come up to be $3,500. But if you send myself and one deputy, that'll be $3,200. That means that you gotta pay me $175 per person, the mileage, the hotel, the meals, and the class. So I said, I brought it to the team and they agreed. They said, well, hey, we'd rather for all of us to go for $3,500 than just send 2 people to service 120,000 citizens. So I would like to see if we can get that approved. And of course, you know, no mileage, just the hotel and the class is what we agreed to. Can I go to the next one?
That's everything? That's everything?
No. I don't know how it works. Do I wait or do I go into
No,
everything?
you can go through your stuff.
No, go to the next stuff? Okay, thank you. In these 19 days, I always said, don't complain. First, you need to get your foot wet and see what's going on. So, like I said, 19 days, 456 hours, 81 cases I have touched. 57 of those cases were from my predecessor that should have been handled before I came into office. I'm not talking about GBI cases. I'm talking about cases that should have been signed off and our county has paid for those cases, but I'm signing for and closing those cases as we speak. October the 30th, September the 1st, December the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, I'm signing off on those death certificates. They should have been completed before I got in office. But I got to do my service to the citizen to not hold up anything. So that is included in the 81 cases that I have touched, signing death certificate and going on calls as well. Also, let's go to equipment. The equipment that was left for the Newton County Coroner's Office, I have pictures. A radio, handheld, is not operable. There's no cord, no nothing to plug in the outlet. So how's that helping me? Not at all. I have this laptop, 1988. It's not operable, okay? So if they put it on the budget and said that I have a laptop, this is the laptop that was left, okay? My next question is, photos are very important to the family when I'm doing my investigation. And the camera I have is not operable. No back that goes to it, no nothing, no cords or anything, okay? This camera is outdated and it's not working. iPad, you left. I have no codes to get in, it's water damage and it's cracked, no cord to charge it or anything along that nature, okay? When I took office on January 1, 2021, my team, those three young ladies and myself, we stood outside in the sheriff's office, outside in the parking lot, and counted everything that was left to me. I had 10 body bags, 6 boxes of gloves, masks that was thrown everywhere in bins, but it wasn't packed inside properly, so we couldn't use those masks at all. Okay, I had maybe like 12 disposable suits. I wanted the tie-back suits because when we're going into situations, we need to make sure that we secure ourselves. But I was told all he used was gloves and a mask. But what I keep telling people I stand here today, I'm not him. I'm Bailey Butts, and I'm the new elected coroner for Newton County. I'm here to serve each and every one of you guys and make sure that I give the family answers, not excuses, answers. Also, the morgue. Now, this is my morgue. Over the weekend, the morgue wasn't working. So I had to call around to several funeral homes, but they wasn't able to take my the loved ones of Newton County. I had to house somebody at Newton General. This is the morgue, okay? Also, this is our morgue. So over the weekend, I was in the morgue, and then also I had to go yesterday when somebody contacted me. I was having issues, so I went and got checked. So I got spores in my nose due to being in the morgue, due to the mildew, the mold, and possible lead. So we need to get that fixed ASAP. And I'm not talking about just no mom and pop fixing something. I need to see certification, because there's no way I would allow my staff or either be able to take a body in there alone when the cooler's not working. The gauge. You can see. Okay. The gauge, it says that it's set for 32 degrees, but as you can see, it's negative. Negative. I can pass them around. Everything that I have, I can send it over. My next question is the van. The brakes on the car is awful. The lights that's coming on the car is very unsafe for me to drive. Yes, he had this car, I think it's like this white van, is 2017. The windshield is cracked. Can I get paperwork? When was the last time that car serviced? Nobody can give me the paperwork. I don't have a GPS system. So whenever I get a call and I have to go to a call, I have to hold my phone in my hand and drive at the same time, and everybody knows that's very unsafe. I'm going to a call to doing a death investigation, but I'm holding my phone. And therefore, when 911 operators call me, I can't answer that call because due to the fact, I need to know where I'm going. Also, we have another vehicle that I guess fairly was new, but it's not doing me any type of service. Because over the weekend, if I put a body on the stretcher and me and those other 3 ladies have to lift it up, we shouldn't have to lift anything. It should go just easy as 1, 2, 3. Okay? The van also cuts off. I also had, if I may say, Sheriff Brown had to come over and help me out. Him and my husband went to see why it cut off. So, okay, we figured that out. So over Saturday, it cut off twice while I was en route to get to where I need to go to service my citizens of Newton County. So when I asked, when was the last time it was serviced, nobody can give me that answer. Okay? Can I move on that one? My next question is on the agenda is office supply. My office supply, I have nothing, zero, nada, nothing. I have written not one check. Everything been coming out of my pocket. Even the gas for my vehicle has been coming out of my pocket to gas the county car. Ask me why. Okay, nobody is assisting me. But like I said, exclude Sheriff Brown. I want to tell you, I appreciate him coming in, stepping in to try to guide me and show me where I need to be. But however, if we want Newton, everybody should have been reaching out to make sure that Bailey Butts and her team was okay. When I came into this role, Newton County only have one coroner. Everybody else have a team, somebody to depend on. I had no one. When it came to training, when it trying to get into the office, everybody told me they did not know what the coroner do. I said, you didn't know what the coroner, nobody said he was, everybody told me that I went to, he was doing what he wanted to do, and we did not know what he was doing. That's understandable. That's understandable. But here, I'm very transparent. When I tell you today, the book that I have, anybody can come and look. My goal is to try to get accreditation because we get audited every 6 months. So it should be no question as to how we're operating. I wrote my policy and procedures within 10 days I was in office, and I'm ready to get certified. But you asked me what's holding me up. I don't have the space. We're not 6 inches apart. We can't do certain things in the office. Why? Because I only have one office. I'm an elected official, and my office is the size of a closet. I don't have any place to put supplies. I don't have anything to do a meeting or either facilitate, communicate with the family, or either go over their death investigation. What did I find? What was my findings? I don't have any of that. I asked for it, but everybody said, no, no, no. I need administrative stuff. We don't have any paper. These are the things that when people go into office, I saw Marcus Jordan. When he went into office, he had supplies. But can I say that? No. Everything that I need, we have to kind of scramble for it, call for it in another county. I don't have the things that I need to serve my citizens. Over the weekend, I needed to draw labs on a decedent. I had to go to Newton General to get venue punctures to draw labs on a decedent when that should have already been in my possession. If I'm trained to do it, by God, let me do it, me and my team. Save the county and get results quick and fast to the family. I hear everybody talking about safety and all this. Safety starts with the coroner. The safety starts right here. And then also, another question I talk about, my office. Every time I leave, something is missing or something happened appear in my office. When I might say something like, I don't have a camera. The office is the size of a closet. We don't record everything in this office. And then the next day I show up and I pull the file cabinet out. There go a camera. I was like, you know what? We recorded everything. So I can show you what it was January 4th when I went in office and where it is now. I supposed to have gotten all keys on January 1, 2021. I got my last set of keys from Tommy Davis was 1/12/2021. That was totally unacceptable. Things have been missing, and I am asking for a new office for not only for me, but for my staff as well. And I don't feel safe because every time I leave, stuff are missing. Okay, prime example. If I mention to somebody about the cooler, the cooling system is about the size of a closet as well. When we first went in there, we recorded everything. Then all of a sudden, we get this log, and it says, oh, the cooler log. If the log was working, then the gauge wouldn't show -50. Okay? Everything has to come out my budget. I don't have a budget. But these cases, we're in a pandemic. And every time I go to finance, I would say, oh, if you go over your budget, it's going to come out your pay. It's not going to come out my pay. No, not with me working 465 hours, and I don't touch 81 cases, and it's just January the 19th, and I'm struggling to try to maintain supplies. No, it's not going to come out my budget because my predecessor didn't care about the citizen of Newton County, but I'm telling you what I do. I care. I'm separated from a funeral home. That's the difference. I don't own a funeral home, and this is new. And the budget is very low. Also, my administrative assistant, I had to put somebody in the office, Ms. Danella. The best thing about this, she's able to serve. It's one of my clients called on the phone, and he was speaking in Spanish. I don't know Spanish. But I was thanking God that I hired her because she was able to speak and communicate and deliver what One Newton is all about. Veteran, military. It's just great to have people, but she's not in your budget. It doesn't matter. I take over 115 calls last week from my office. You think I'm able to do that, do these 81 cases? I'm not able to do that at all. Newton County, your corner needs help. I'm not talking about my wants. I'm telling what Newton County needs. And then my goal is to have seven deputies. But people always say, oh, that's not in your budget. You fail to realize and understand how the coroners work. We're deputies, but they don't get paid until they go on a case. So if I put that deputy on call for 24 hours and we get no case, that's $0 that's coroner got. But if they got 20 cases that night, that's their cases. Okay? But also, last but not least, Newton County Coroner would not be doing any transportation. We don't transport bodies at all. I think stepping into this role, people do not understand what's the role of Newton County Coroner, the new one, my administration. They were so used to using me as a transporter. I would get the call 3 hours late. How am I able to do justice for the citizens when you call me 3 hours late and EMS, the law enforcement, and whoever done walked all over and did whatever to the body? Newton County, I expect to be called on that initial call. When 911 dispatch EMS, law enforcement, they better be calling the coroner, because I am the lead investigator when I step on the scene. I'm in control of the body, and I'm working solely for the citizen of Newton County. So I will not be transporting any bodies unless they're going from the county morgue to the GI, and that's effectively immediately today. Okay, so that's all I have, and I appreciate it. And I know that's a mouthful. You don't have to give me an example to a response today, but at the end of the day, I'm here for Newton County.
So you don't want a response today?
I mean, if you want to, but you.
So let me ask you.
Everybody gave you a lot of stuff.
Let me ask you,
Absolutely.
so, you got here, discussion, consideration of safety, training, equipment, and supplies. Do you have a total number that you're asking for?
You know what, Chairman Baines, that's a great question. After this week, when I had to get a body out of a car that was touching, that's out of my scope of practice. When I have to go and literally the car touching each other and you got me and my staff in there pulling them out, that's not my job. And somebody got hurt on that one because somebody left. And I think if I recall, I mentioned to you that it was posted that somebody on the fire department said they wasn't gonna help me do nothing, and we supposed to have a meeting. I think I mentioned that to you. So, like I said, at the end of the day, we have to start addressing and hold people accountable. I don't care how they feel about me, but what I feel about is Newton County.
So, do you want? Is there a number that you want the board to consider tonight?
For the
For
the training, 3,500.
Training, 3,500. Safety?
For the safety, I need to get, the morgue, bring it up to code. I don't know what number would that take?
So do you want to come up with a figure and present back to the board again, or?
No, because I don't know what it's gonna take to make the morgue up to date according to these pictures. Because there's no way that my predecessor was using that morgue. And if I have a list of people that supposedly occupied the morgue about for 2 years. If we can roll the tape right now, I want to see how many bodies went through there.
So I'm trying my best to aim. So is there a certain dollar amount that you want to ask the board to consider tonight?
I want 3,500. For my supplies, I'm going to definitely need 5,500. Because we have anything. Anybody can come to the morgue, come to our office, take a look around. It's not what I want, it's what we need.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I got to have a number so that the board can vote on.
Right, I gave you 3,500.
Okay.
And then I gave you 5.
You write that down, Ms. Jackie?
Right? And then also, yeah, like I said, I need to get my supplies. And like I said, that's the start. But far as the morgue.
So right now I'm at 3,500 for training, 5,000 for supplies. 5,500.
5,500. Thank you so much.
So we're at 9,000. Is there equipment? I see equipment is on here as well.
The equipment is for like the Hoyer lift. The stretcher we have right now, I can show you.
I know, I just need a number.
Like I said, I have to price the stretcher, but I can always get back. But if I have to transport somebody, the 350, they're gonna be on the floor because we had to. What I'm telling you, my goal is to get stuff that we need in the office, supplies, bags. We need things like that when we're showing up on the scene. Stretchers probably cost what? Probably like 1,200. If not, I can always come back. But the thing about it is, if we have to put somebody on there to take them to the GBI, they might make it, they might not make it. But I'm just telling you, these things should have been in place before I came. And
okay, I got a Commissioner Cowan, go ahead. He's actually
ahead.
asked a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've got a lot of experience in setting up offices, and realistically, you're too low.
Four.
You're too low. All right, you need to be about $50,000 right now, based on what you've told me, what I've heard, the equipment and everything, plus your staffing and everything. I don't know what your salary is or not.
My salary is, we're gonna talk about that next year. I'm
but-
not really worried about that.
But I'm saying $50,000 between now and July 1st.
Yes.
Because you've got a lot of cost involved in this. Now, I'd rather you be able to do it for 30 or 40, but I don't think you're going to be able to. So I would recommend, if Lloyd is able to, and if Brittany's able to allow her a $50,000 transfer out of the general fund to get her operating like that office needs to be operating with the right equipment. She's got to have copiers. She's going to have supplies. She's going to have a phone. I don't know what a van would cost. That may be something you put in next year's budget. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe the sheriff can loan us something on that. But to get an office up and running, plus you got operating expense too. You got workers' compensation. You got general liability that's going to be coming out of your budget and things like that. I know that sounds probably like too much, but I'm just telling you, it's not enough what you're asking for.
You know what?
To get the training and get the people like you need to have them, you need it.
And I need the office space. Because my thing is, I want to be.
And we've got plenty of office space. I don't know what the board has available, but there ought to be something somewhere. Lloyd, you may have something, I don't know. But that's just my opinion, okay? To get an office up and running,
Thank you.
and that's just for half a year. And that should get a lot of things out of the way. Next year, your budget may not be 100,000, maybe 80, I don't know. I don't know what it would be. You'll have to figure that out.
Absolutely.
But you need to have enough cash available to make sure that your office is able to run and operate. One, because I don't want somebody in my family to die and then I call the coroner and the coroner's not able to provide an adequate service. And I don't think anybody wants to because the county shortchanged them.
Absolutely.
So that's just how I feel about it. And you've got, I just saw a while ago, 147 deaths just from COVID in the last year. Okay, that's a lot added to the other things that's going on. And you have to sign off on every one of those.
I got to sign off on last year too, which
Yeah.
was 57 deaths.
Yeah.
It should have been, it was charged to the county, but I got to go ahead and close it off.
Right.
And the thing is, I think that was totally unfair. Things like that should have been taken care of before.
Well, I can't get into what happened
okay.
before.
You know what?
I can only look to the future.
Absolutely, we're gonna
Okay.
see. I got you.
But I think it's going to take you at least that to get through till July. That's just my feeling. I don't know how anybody else feels.
Wow. Commissioner Sanders, go ahead.
I just wanted to commend Commissioner Cowan for having
Yes.
expertise in this area, because I was thinking the exact same thing of all the things that you were mentioning that you need and you're lacking, that your number was way too low for operations.
Thank you.
So like I said, I don't know what Lord can work a miracle with over there, but I echo Commissioner Cowan, and I thank him for having expertise in setting up offices and knowing
Thank
exactly what
you.
you need to assist you
Absolutely.
to get your office up and running.
You're right, and I have to be low because, the reason why I was thinking along those lines, because everybody's talking about your budget. My budget is the lowest budget in the county, but like I said, I work every day, and within 19 days, I did 456 hours. I haven't slept. So I need somebody that's gonna relieve me. My goal is to put a coroner in each commissioner district, Why? Because it's easy for them to assess better than me traveling. If you got your deputy coroner in District 3, then they're able to respond a lot faster than me. District 4, 5, Porterdale, instead of me having to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and driving all the way to Newbern. But like I said, our deputies do not get paid, they get paid by cases. So if they on call for 24 hours, that don't mean that they get paid until they go to a case.
Thank you. Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Now, this is to Lord. I think you need to go and get somebody to assess what it is that she needs. And then make sure that come back to us, we authorize the chairman to be able to sign off on it. See, because you can say, well, $50,000 and it being $100,000. And so if you can assess what it is she needs in order to get it up and running, and so she won't be so inundated with bodies, et cetera. Similar to what we do for each other projects. You know, you come in and say, well, this is what it takes in order to do it. And the best person to find out what it is yourself, and so then come back to us or whatever we need to okay so she can get those services done. And as far as the spaces, I'm not we just, like Ronnie said, Commissioner Cowan said, we have to look at what's available to you and maybe, you know, do something for that term. But I think right now the best bet to get this thing up and running and so you can start getting up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that's good, Commissioner Henderson, but you know what? This is day 19, going on day 20 for me. Like I said, Commissioner Cowan, I hope you'll be around for years to come. Anybody, Newton County, I support you 120%. Please understand that, I appreciate you. The thing is, I'm already up and running. I know exactly what we need because it's like birthing a baby. When nothing was left for you, you have to nurture it and feed it as you grow. And another thing, like I said, like I told you, my office, people are coming in and out of my office and things are showing up. But is this envelope right here, it will break somebody hard, what I'm holding in my hand. We're talking about Bear Creek, we're gonna be talking about Covington, Conyers, Corners office with this right here, if I open this. Let me just tell you this, I'm here for the citizen of Newton County, no more, no less. The salary I get is less than $30,000, 30. But for 456 hours, 81 cases, and this is just on the 19, I still got that energy, and I'm ready to serve everybody. So it's not about the money, it's not about the needs and wants. What Mr. Calvin said, what I need. I need to make sure that we support everybody, and I won't want anybody to show up at your house, and I'm not able to service them.
Receive the monies that you're requesting, it has to be brought before the county manager and then brought back to the board for his approval for it. We want what's best for you. I mean, we believe it or not. And that was the job that you took on. I think it's something I wouldn't take on. But you took it on. You're a strong young lady.
And you know what? Yes, I am. And I thank you so much for those words. And let me just say this, but I need the money for the education training. It needs to be in by next Monday. For the training? Okay, no worries. So, yeah.
The issue on the training and all will not be a problem. The biggest issue that I see is the office space. We've got space, we just don't have any built-in space. And that is truly an issue. You know, so that's going to be that's going to be a long-term thing. That'll be a long-term fix.
So I cannot get accreditation is what you're saying. My thing
No,
is,
you can, I didn't say you couldn't get the accreditation.
but if we don't have a space, then I can't do what I need to do to make sure I check off the box so it can be accredited. But I know I looked up on the 3rd floor in the admin building. There's nothing up there but the gym.
Right, that's what I'm saying, that we've got space, but there's no finished space. And that space is not finished, it's not set up for office space. Doesn't have all of the, you know, there's no walls up there, it doesn't have the ventilation. So it's not ready for somebody to use as office space. You know, that's why I say that's going to be more of a long-term.
So the office next to my office and it's vacant right now. I know you're looking to hire somebody. Is there any way that I can go in there, a temporary, until you guys hire somebody?
Which office is? Oh, no, actually, Yeah, no, that office has gotten, we're going to be hiring somebody to fill in that office. That's already been planned for another,
Okay,
for
but I have
PIO.
the accreditation.
What office?
ICAME is coming to on next Tuesday. And I need to be able to have an office, so therefore I need to find out what I need to make sure we're accredited. See, when I came to, you told me you didn't know what the coroner does and he never been audited within 17 years. My goal is now, I want to make sure we get audited every 6 months.
So
I
what
want to make
does-
sure we're accredited. So therefore, everybody in Newton County will know exactly what the coroner does, how the funds are spent, and making sure that we're servicing everybody.
But what does the accreditation do for you? I mean,
The
as far as,
accreditation make us operate at a high level of standard. They're just like the sheriff's office. He's
okay, but
accredited.
if that's delayed for 6 months, that's really not going to make an impact on the kind of service you give, correct?
It will make an impact because the deal was grants. Then therefore, I won't have to ask for money. I can get grants. I can get FEMA grants. So those are the things that it takes a minute to get accredited, but since I got my policy already written, and my goal is to be the first, not the second or the third, the first coroner in the state of Georgia to be accredited. So therefore, anybody will know how accreditation raised the state, and everybody know exactly how we operate.
You know, did you expect to have that question answered tonight from the office?
You know what? To be honest, I've been in the office for 19, and every time I come that way, I never have an answer. It's always a no. So pretty much no.
So hold up. So, there's no office space available in this building. The office space, Ms. Jackie got a deputy clerk position that's available. That's the office, I guess, adjacent, that's the one she's talking about, adjacent to your office?
No,
The office, that's not?
no, not the office with Ms. Jackie in, because that's Ms. Jackie's office.
So it's
I'll make the point, I apologize, Ms. Jackie.
So it's another office inside of her office? That's not the one you're talking about? No.
It's with a copy machine.
So
It's a
that's,
copy machine.
that-
Even if
that-
it's just temporary, I'm not asking
So-
until you hire somebody, because I want to meet with accreditation so I can know
No, that's not the
exactly
commissioner's
what is it that I need. So therefore, we already registered with the International Coroners Association and Medical Examiner Trainee, every one of my team members. My goal is, like I said, if you want the best, this is the best. If you want to be transparent, I am transparent.
okay.
There's no reason.
So, there's a deputy clerk position that is about to be filled. There's a film coordinator, is the office I think you're talking about where the copy is. That's where the film coordinator's office is. The only other office in here is where the commissioner's, it's the commissioner's office and the attorney's office. So now,
Let me ask you a question. I'm the only elected official that doesn't have an office.
oh, you have an
Administrative
office.
assistant.
You have an office.
No, let me say this, the only office is a closet, and I don't even have administrative assistant until now. I need to be able to have meetings, facilitate, different type of program, meeting with people, just making sure that we get everything done on a day-to-day basis. But you know, I have an office. I have two offices. I also have the morgue, but the morgue is not operating. I have mildew, mold, and a possible lead. What do we have? I'd rather go down there if it was operable. It's big enough so we can put more than one person in there, but it's not. It's not ready for us to be in that office.
Lord, do we have anything, is there anything at the old jail?
You talking about the,
Office space?
which, you're not talking about the historic jail?
No.
That I
Over
don't know,
where
that's
Morgan
the
is. Is theirs
sheriff's,
in the office space over there?
that's the sheriff's building, so I really don't know anything about it.
What about Cousin School? I mean,
Cousin School has got,
Absolutely.
available space. I think we've got we may have some space over there. It's a classroom. It's not really set up. We could probably, I mean, there's one space over there that Jody may have vacated by now. They were moving into the old 911 center. And that space is air conditioned and all. And we could probably put some dividers in there. Because it does now, as far as data jacks and all of that, we'd have to find out about that. I can find out about that.
could you take a look at that and see if that would work?
Commissioner Powell, I'm I wanna be able to put our supplies there. You know, right now,
Right.
we run it everywhere. And I just want us to be one unit.
Right.
And that's it. If that's the spot, I'm okay with that.
Well, right now, it's the
Yeah,
only one I
that-
can think of right off the top
That's,
of my head.
that's probably the only space, and if, let me see where he is, they are with finishing the remodel of that, the 911 space over there. I'll find out about that.
Hey, guys,
Thank you.
So, wait to be recognized, please. Commissioner Sanders first.
I just want to clarify, because you said you have a meeting that's coming up where you need an office space so that they can go through the accreditation. I think what she asked also, I think we missed it, she said she need a meeting for this week to have an office space. I think that's why she asked to borrow that office just for that meeting. And then, of course, we can find something for her later on, but she needs an office space so that they can go forward with the accreditation just to borrow that office for that meeting that's coming up this week. So I'm not sure if the person that you're hiring is going into that office this week, but if she can borrow it for this week, that's what she was asking. I
So-
think we missed that.
Yeah, so we do have a private meeting room, if that will,
But then I'm gonna put her out, and that's gonna delay them 115 calls that's coming in my office.
I'm saying if we,
Delaying, I'm gonna be fussing at her, you know, because I need to make sure that if the commissioner wants to use that office and they walk in, I need privacy as well.
for
I
that
want
day,
to talk to-
so we trying to figure out how to make your meeting work.
So in other words, the office is out because you guys going to actually, hire somebody, but they're not there right now, is what you're saying. That's what I wanna know.
If you want to use it for a meeting, you can use it for a meeting, but to be a permanent office, no, that's
No, I
out.
didn't say permanent.
Yeah,
Because
that's
that
what-
person's not there right now, but like I said, I've been in that building every day, Monday through Friday, Commissioner.
So-
Chairman Bang, I apologize.
So,
And I'm coming to work every day.
so listen,
Yes,
so
sir.
if you, come on, guys, so, if you need a meeting space
Mm-hmm.
to conduct your meeting, like Commissioner, Sanders just suggested, you can use the commissioner's office downstairs to conduct that meeting. Nobody's gonna come in there and, disrupt your meeting.
Okay, then how soon can I move over to the 911 center? When will you guys get back with me on that so we can start?
So tomorrow, Lord and I can go over to see can we find some, space. And, if you over at Cousin, if that's where you wanna be, so.
Absolutely, I can move the coroner's office over there, there's no problem. Because the thing is, we need to be together so we can kind of like be cohesive, making sure that the family can come in and get access to me. Instead of, the coroner's office is open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. There's no way around it, we need to be open and accessible to the community.
Commissioner Henderson.
No, I just said maybe, say something. Well, first of all, occasionally I do use the commissioner, room for, meetings with my constituency. As far as our cousin school, I think, we've got to sit in together and say, hey, let us understand the plan that we have for that space and the plans we have for our cousin, rather than saying, well, you just come in, we got to work together. I don't think that it's very important about, we need for the families, but we also need to work together as far as the district commissioners too as well in the space that we already have. And I think that it's really a room that it's not told by the chairman who can and who can't use that room. And maybe the commissioners get together and say, well, hey, let's do it. But I think as it stands right now, it's got to be something as far as a commissioner's decision rather than just a, chairman saying you can use it. And we go back to cousin. I remember just this earlier this evening, what we decided we were going to do a whole lot of stuff over there. And now all of a sudden we done changed a couple hours through. I think we need to work together to figure out what we want to do, how we want to do it, and where it might be we want to be set up at.
Well, Commissioner, it's not a chairman's decision. 911 is already over there in the building, in the space where she's talking about. So wait a minute. No, let me finish. So I don't see, not 911, I'm sorry. EMS is, EMA is already over there. And they are actually building out that space now, and I'm sure it's almost completed. So, yeah, over there. They've been there. They've been there. It ain't nothing new. They've been there for a while, for years. So for her to have an office over there, it wouldn't really hurt anything because there's space already over there. And you're not taking a massive amount of space. You're giving her an office, to operate out of. Yeah.
To this, it was, and this is me, it was disrespectful for Cousins, for people to make decisions what goes in the space and then come back and say, we're not gonna do anything for the total building at all. I think it's some point, we got to include all of us, not just one or two people in that. And because we know exactly how we want to do it. But it's about, I think you're supposed to, and I'm gonna close it. You're supposed to at least let the commissioner who's in charge of that district, in his district, at least know what's going on. And I think that's what's been happening with this board, is that there's been a whole lot of doing stuff, and nobody's not talking to nobody.
EMA, hold on for a second. Guys, hey, when you're done talking, please cut your mics off. I think that's why we're getting that feedback. But EMA has been over at Cousins before I was elected. Is that correct? 911 was over at Cousins before they moved, before I was elected. Is that right? So to say this board hasn't did anything, it was already done before I got here. Y'all did that before I was here. But I think we arguing over nothing. I think, yeah, I think if we're gonna give her.
We want to help the young lady.
Yeah.
And we're trying to help her, but you got to sit down together and talk together and talk this thing out. And it's not going to happen at this meeting here.
Well, the board just said they wanted her to see. The board just said we want to see if there's an office available at Cousin School.
Thank you.
That's what the board just said.
Thank
Is
you.
that correct?
Was that in form of motion? Is it in form of motion?
I don't think they have to be in a motion. Do they have to be in a motion?
I think to the extent we're gonna give her temporary funding for training, we should put that also in the motion. We don't have to, but we will want a motion to give her funding.
I know we need to give a motion for funding. That's to add money to her budget. But do we need to make a motion to give her office space over at Cousin?
That's up to you. It's not absolutely necessary.
I'm sorry, can you say it for the minutes, please?
I think, to reiterate what I was just saying, I apologize for not having my mic on. To the extent that we are appropriating temporary funding for training, I would recommend a motion. To the extent that is just giving direction to county staff to explore space in Cousins Middle School, we do not need a motion, but it's optional.
And I have a question, and Commissioner Henderson.
Yes, Ms. Buck.
I got all the respect for everybody on the board, but this is a question to you. It appears that everything Commissioner Powell says that's gonna help Newton County Corner. Remember, I didn't create this fiasco. This fiasco was here 17 years, and if I open up this envelope, I will shut Covington down.
Hey,
Do you understand me?
can you speak in?
I just want to tell you how,
Ms. Corner, can you talk in the mic, please? Guys,
Okay.
please, hold on one second.
Let me say this.
Hold on
Okay, I
one second.
apologize.
Guys, please, wait to be recognized before you speak on the floor, okay? We want to make sure we keep this meeting in order. If you could, speak in the mic for us, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Henderson, I think that everything that they have thrown on the table, you're not gonna like it when it comes to the corner. Here's what I want to tell you. I'm here for the citizen of Newton County. I'm here for the next 4 years, and at the end of the day, it's to the duration, so I feel like that I no longer want to hold this position. See, when I stepped in this office, I'm serving everyone. And Commissioner Cowell said it for yourself, I was too low. I said 5,500 and 3,500 because I was 19 days I've been working off and borrowing Peter to pay Paul and going in my pockets. I have not written one check or paid anyone. This young lady had worked over 80 hours for me. I have not written one check to pay her, but she's showing up every day for Newton County. Everybody that's standing beside me, I have not written one check. Ms. Bailey Butts, we're here for you. We want to make sure that we get the training and make sure we service everybody. I need space. I'm the only elected official that doesn't have an AA, or I don't have a space to put supplies, or stuff is not operating properly. My staff is not together, and we're not even doing CDC guidelines on practicing social distance. There's no way I can do that, and we're in violation. So I would love to go over to Cousin Middle School and make sure that we develop my team from ground up.
Ms. Corner.
I'm just asking you that.
Ms. Corner, let me do
Yes,
this.
sir.
We're going to stop this.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Calvin, are you calling for a motion? Did you call that, make that in the form of a motion?
As to the,
As to the amount that you spoke of?
yes, I
Making it-
think I'd like to make a motion that we transfer from the budget up to $50,000 to get her through July 1st for her to set up and operate an office with adequate computers, tables, chairs, furniture, the things that you need to have to set up and operate a professional office. I don't like, okay, I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm not going to give you my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But I'd like to make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
It's been motioned by Commissioner Cowan. It's been motioned by Commissioner Cowan and second by Commissioner Henderson. Any discussion? Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And to you, Ms. Butts, I've never been against you. You know what? And that job has been very inundated with whoever was there. And then to come in doing COVID and all these bodies and stuff. And so you didn't hear what I said when Commissioner Calvin said, and he stated just what he said. What I said was to allow Lloyd, the county manager, to assess how much money for all the things that you need. And so that's all I was saying. I was trying to help you in case you just wasn't listening. But I mean, you got the job, but it's a whole lot of work. In fact, even that's Jackie. I'm gonna say this so I'll be through, Mr. Chairman. I said, Jackie, I said, do she know what she got herself into? And then you had to go to training. And they said, well, we need to pay for the training. Hey, I supported it. So, you know, I don't think I'm quite as bad as the person that you claiming I am. Thank you.
Commissioner Cowan.
Can I amend that? Up to $50,000 based on the recommendation of the county manager, finance director, and Ms. Butts.
No. Commissioner Henderson, did you came back and second that? Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passed 4-1. Thank you for being here tonight, ma'am.
Thank you, guys.
Next on the agenda is Public Works, requesting approval to purchase construction maintenance easement for Brown Bridge Road. For Brown Bridge project on Brown Bridge Road. Mr. Kerr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chester Clegg, our transportation engineer, will address this item and the next item on the agenda as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chester. Chester, quick question before you get started. I was just told that, did we lose an employee over the weekend?
No, sir.
We did not.
We lost a former employee.
Okay, former employee.
Kenny Rutledge.
Mm-hmm.
And we were real sad about that. He has not been with us for a year or two, but we were really sad that he passed away in a tragic accident.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
We sure did. We're continuing to acquire properties for 2 bridge projects, and both are on Brown Bridge Road, one at Snapping Shoals and one at Yellow River. And there are 2 properties that we've got settlement agreements for, and they're just pretty small easements. One is parcel 9, and I've included all the settlement paperwork in the map. That's for PI 0015096. That's a bridge replacement at the Yellow River. And then one of them is for parcel 7, that's for Snapping Shoals. It's pretty straightforward. It's an agreement with the property owners. They seem to be content with the agreement, so we're requesting approval from the board.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, I seek a motion, please. It's been motioned by Commissioner Mason and second by Commissioner Edwards. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Passes 5-0. Chester, you up next?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. The next item is we have a asphalt spreader that our paving crew uses every day that they're paving. And it's 6 years old, it's out of warranty, and so out of the 5-year service agreement. We've had a lot of trouble with it since we've had it, since 2014, and it's working right now, but we'd like to use it as a backup, trade our current 2000 model Caterpillar spreader in for a new 2021 spreader, so that we can continue to pave with our our LMIG programs and our SPLOS programs.
Thank you, Chester. Commissioners, any questions? I seek a motion, Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I got distracted, Chester, for 1 second. So the cost is what?
The new spreader is $377,000. We're trading the 20-year-old Caterpillar spreader in for $20,000. So that would leave us with a balance of $357,357. And it's proposed to come out of 2017 SPLOST Equipment Fund, so it won't come out of our general budget. And
357 what now? I'm sorry.
357.
Okay, thank you, Chester.
Anyone else? I seek a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that this board approve the purchase of a 2021 CAT AP 600F paver by Yancey at a cost not to exceed $357,000, $357,357.
Can I get a second, please? Commissioner Sanders.
I second.
Thank you. It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Sanders. Any more discussion? All in favor? Thank you. It passed 5-0. Next is item 16, Development of Services Discussion, Consideration of Resolution R011921, a resolution of the Newton County Board of Commissioners enacting a limit moratorium until February 19th, 2021 on the acceptance of applications of zoning petitions and preliminary plats, concept plan petition for a new residential development. Ms. Judy, is she here? Ms. Judy, there she is.
Good evening, Chairman,
Good evening.
Commissioners. Can you hear me? The request before you this evening is will be a first step. Staff is asking for an emergency moratorium for new residential development on the basis of, let me just explain, maybe that's the easiest way. We've had a lot of new residential subdivision requests come in, and many of these subdivisions have been able to develop and have been benefits to our community. However, we're recognizing that as land here is still readily available, I've had staff working on pulling us some numbers. Currently in Newton County, we have over 6,652 total undeveloped lots that have no types of structures. Now, not all of these are going to be zoned residential. This would include your commercial zonings or industrial, but the fact of the matter is we have somewhere near 7,000 lots of all sizes that could potentially, many of those, the majority would be residentially zoned. We have currently 440 residential subdivisions all over the county. These are incorporated bodies of land where they have either named the subdivision or we've recognized it as some type of community. What we have found is we've got a couple of really great instances. I will mention a project that's going currently in District 4 where under the Alman overlay you can come in by right, according to our ordinance, if you're in a certain tier, and you can do a mixed-use project as long as no one part of it is greater than 70%. Well, our developers tend to choose to develop 70% residential, and the 30% that in this one project that we got, and this is called, they've changed the name of it, but we've always referred to it as the 513 townhomes. It's at the corner of Kirkland and Jack Neely. In this particular development, it was an old golf course or a small, I don't play golf, so I apologize, but maybe a 9-par, something to that degree, and it had a beautiful lake on it. So the development chose to bring a concept plan in that would have this 30%, this nice beautiful lake would then be dedicated as a civic use, and the other part of the land they could develop residentially. Well, that project is a great civic use. At some point, part of the requirements of that developer is they had to bring, they're paving the entire path along the lake. They are creating parking spaces, and they are creating it to be handicapped accessible. Right now, it will be privately owned and managed by the subdivision. At some point in the future, should the county choose to look at it, then Development Services wants it created in such a way that if our Recreation Department looked at it, we're not looking at having to do any types of repair to dam breaches or pay for ADA access and so forth. That's a good development. On the same hand, I have another acres of land that is 25 acres, and it has on both ends unusable land that has hard topos and it's wetlands. Well, a different developer has found out that as long as you come in with a 70-30 split, that you can do it as civic. So what they have proposed is to put a park bench on each end looking out over this land that's not usable, and they wanted us to consider that a civic use. Well, that doesn't benefit anyone. It doesn't benefit the county. We don't need areas where young people or other people can just gather that doesn't have a real function. So we started looking at our ordinance, and our ordinance does not define what a civic use is. It was things like that that brought concern, which I approached in a monthly meeting that I hold with the chairman and our county manager, the request to start updating and looking at our ordinance. And we've been doing that, but as of today, we have accepted 55 permits since January the 1st. Wow. And issued 25 new residential since January the 1st. Wow. As long as projects keep rolling in, then we have no way to look at what type densities that can go, and not just, I'm using the Alman overlay as an example, but this could be all over our county. And a lot of these, we'll take Brown Bridge Road. How many of you have come up and down Brown Bridge Road? In Newton County, when we grew and developed roads, we had main road systems. And you developed a subdivision and you came straight off the one main road and you came straight back to the main road. Well, we're not getting the traffic all off of our major roads or even developing new roads to start getting a better connectivity. So what I see as the thing the Band-Aid can no longer hold in is we have subdivision requirements that do not really define what an amenity or its civic space should be. We have transportation concerns because all of these land comes back out onto our main roads. So tonight, we are asking you to enact what would be considered an emergency moratorium to give staff time. This is for 30 days only. Staff would then come back before this board, hopefully at a work session that if we could get on the February 2nd meeting, where we could go over all of the things that are in our ordinance that we have concern with. Then we would advertise and come back in front of this board to extend that moratorium an amount of time for us to actually make those amendments and those changes. Now, this would not affect someone coming in who already is in a platted subdivision and getting a building permit. We're still going to be issuing building permits. We would still issue land disturbance permits. We have 9 cases that's going to our planning commission next Tuesday night, 7 of those that have the potential to move on to you in your February meeting. So this is not to prevent people who already have vested time and money and plans into being able to move forward, but this is to stop the acceptance of 2 particular types of requests, which would be a new zoning request to present some type of new, like if you're going from an A, which is a 10-acre minimum, down to an R3, which is 2,000, less than, a little more than half an acre, but less than an acre. So we would ask to the moratorium be on the acceptance of new zoning petitions and new preliminary plat or concept plan petitions for new residential development only. I can certainly read the resolution, sir, if I need to. I did put a new one on your, at your table that has a little highlight. I found 2 typos. One just said article and then it went to cord, but that is Article 3 of our ordinance. And then the other is to actually put the word "in." It did read "is permitted applicable." It should be "is permitted in applicable zoning and overlay districts." I did not find any other typos. And Chairman, if you'll let me know if you need me to read it into record.
No, ma'am, but you did give out a lot of information here tonight. But I want to make sure that we are able to establish a retreat so that the commissioners can ask questions, one-on-one questions. The board meeting, I know time would not allow us to any justice, because I know I'm still learning a lot of this stuff. I know Commissioner Mason, he's new, he's still learning, and Commissioner Sanders new, she's still learning. Commissioner Edwards, I know everybody's still learning. JC, Commissioner Henderson may got his hands wrapped around it really good, but we are all still learning this, and this is the information that we really need to get a good understanding on. So 30 days, that's a good start, but we're going to be doing retreats so that everybody can get brought up to speed and make sure we all knowledgeable of the way that it all works. So 30 days is a good start.
Yes, sir, and we will
Come back before the
this
board.
board. Yes, sir, before the moratorium expires, so we could, but we would have to
Okay.
advertise it
I
at
got
that point. Yes, sir.
Okay. So we asked for 30 days for now. Commissioner, I seek a motion, please. Commissioner Mason, Edwards, whichever one.
I was gonna say, that's all we need to go ahead and read the resolution. So I seek a motion that we approve Resolution R011921, which is a resolution of the Newton County Board of Commissioners enacting a limited moratorium until February 19th, 2021 on the acceptance of applications of zoning petitions and preliminary plat, concept plan petitions for new residential development.
Thank you, sir. It's been motioned by Commissioner Mason and second by Commissioner Edwards. Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Sanders.
I have one question for clarification. She said 70% is residential and 30% is civic use.
Civic, or it could have been a commercial use, but we will not allow more than one type of use to be greater than 70. In any, it's called a mixed-use project. All mixed-use projects that I have seen since I have been with the county has been the majority residential and the 30% either made up of civic or commercial. And if I may put one other statement on that, we do not set a thing in our zoning that requires the commercial to develop in tandem with the residential. So it could just be they've dedicated land, but we're not ending up with any development, and we get all the houses and none of the commercial. So those are things we'd like to explore as well.
So is the responsibility has been falling back on the county, or has been falling on the HOA, well, the residents?
Well, what we would like to do, there's a lot of responsibilities, obviously, that HOAs, they have a lot more teeth in civil matters than because we have to follow certain procedures and laws, but there are a lot of things that is lacking in our ordinance that can create better neighborhoods, which will then transpire into better HOAs and better communities.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? All in favor? Thank you, Pat.
Chairman, may I address the board in one other item, please, sir?
About this?
It's about a former planning commissioner that passed away this past weekend.
Okay, let me clear the floor for the
Yes.
motion first. All in favor? It passes 5-0.
I apologize.
Thank you.
I thought y'all voted.
No, go ahead.
I did want to mention, and I only found out about this late yesterday afternoon, we had a planning commissioner who served in District 1 for, gosh, well over 20 years, Mr. Troy Bledsoe.
Oh, wow.
And he had to step down this past fall because of medical concerns, and he did pass away this past Saturday.
Oh, wow.
His obituary is shown in Wheeler's obituary or funeral services. They're not having any type of service at this time, but there is, a request if anyone would like to make donations to the veterans or to, I believe, his church. But Mr. Bledsoe,
he's the young man that had the stroke, right?
no, that's Mr. Gil Davis. So
Okay.
we've had lots of really, but this
Okay.
was District 1. Oh, he was wonderful in our. He used to help coach people to do daycares, and he worked for the government for quite some time, and he was a wonderful, if no one knows, our gavel, Mr. Bledsoe, he was a wonderful wood turner. But if y'all would, please remember his wife, Miss Betty, and his family. He was a wonderful member of our team, and we missed him when he had to step down, and we will certainly miss him as a community. But he did reach the wonderful age of 84, and that's all I have to say. I apologize for taking the extra time this evening.
Wow. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you much. Next is 16A. Lord, Sam's gonna take it, Lord. Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, this is a short motion, and it was added very recently, so would you like me to just read it, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. This is Resolution 011921A, a resolution to support continuation of the tax credit program for film and television production. Whereas, since the installment of the tax credit program for film and television production, the Atlanta region has surpassed Hollywood for number of projects and continues to stay on top. And whereas the Motion Picture Association of America reports that the motion picture and television industry is responsible for more than 92,000 jobs in Georgia. And whereas the city of Covington and Newton County are home to Cinelise Three Ring Studios and numerous film and television contractors. And whereas Newton County has invested significantly in infrastructure that directly supports the local film and entertainment industry. And whereas Newton County has received substantial economic benefit from the supportive environment which the state of Georgia has established through the creation of the Georgia Entertainment Industry Investment Act, GEIIA. Now, therefore, Be it resolved that we, the Chairman and Board of Commissioners, do hereby support the continuation of the GEIIA and other policies that support and strengthen the entertainment industry workforce.
Thank you. Commissioner, this resolution, that's going throughout the state of Georgia, different counties. This resolution is going to end up at the Capitol. Going to be presented to the governor, asking him to continue to support film in the state of Georgia, film in the state of Georgia, as well as the film credit as well. So we hope you guys will approve this tonight so we can send it on behalf of Newton County as well. So I seek a motion, please. Commissioner Mason.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move that we approve resolution to support continuation of the tax credit program for film and television production, R0119-2A. Is that good?
2-1.
2-1A, I'm sorry.
Thank you, sir. Can I get a second, please? Can I get a second, please? Thank you, sir. Been motion by Commissioner Mason and second by Commissioner Cowan. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Passes 5-0. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Next is item number 17, County Manager. Discussion, consideration of First Amendment Tower Site Agreement between Global Sign Acquisitions and Newton County BOC.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 17, 18, 19, and 20 are all similar, although we would need to take action on each one of them. Item 17 in particular is an amendment to the original agreement that we had with Global Sign Acquisitions for tower space on their tower. As a part of our 911 project, we are locating additional antenna array and infrastructure on the grounds of privately owned towers, including these four. And there's, I believe there's 4 other ones, and then we have 3 towers that we're on our property that we would not be doing that. But these are leases for that tower space. And the amount that is being added, we currently are located on this first tower, and so there will be an additional $1,386 per month charge, and that's what that amendment is for. But we would need to consider each of these individually, and I can go into more detail if the board needs to.
Thank you, sir. I seek a motion for item number 17, please. Thank you, sir. Can I get a second, please? It's been motioned by Commissioner Mason again, and second by Commissioner Cowan again. Any discussion? All in favor? I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Commissioner Mason.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this isn't going to be Lloyd coming out of our budget. It says this is Crown Castle. We'll be paying the $1328.
Actually, we will be paying Crown Castle. That was actually the cost there's a misnomer on each of these. We actually will be paying Crown Castle.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any more discussion? All in favor? All in favor? Thank you. Passes 5-0. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Item 18, this is, again, this is a license agreement between Newton County and Crown Castle. This is for actually a new location that we're going to be utilizing. $2,136 is the monthly lease on that tower site, and there is a $4,000 co-locate fee that we have to pay in order to co-locate on that tower, and that's a one-time fee.
Thank you, sir. I seek a motion, please. on, y'all wake up. Come on, guys. It's been motioned by Commissioner Cowan. Can I get a second, please? Second. Thank you, ma'am. It's been seconded by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? All in favor? It passes 5-0.
The
Sure.
next lease is also is an amendment to a tower that we are currently located on, and this will be an additional $13.64 per month for the lease on that tower. And that one is, and so we'll be adding some antenna array to that tower as well.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, I seek a motion, please. It's been motioned by Commissioner Sanders. It's been seconded by Commissioner Cowan. Any discussion? All in favor? I'm sorry. Let me back up. Commissioner Mason.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I see on this one, it says that the funding source is the general fund. Is that going to be the same for the other two that we just approved as well?
What'll happen with these is, since the lease is with us, we will pay for the lease, but then what we'll do is bill the City of Covington for their share of the annual lease lease costs. So it will be coming out, initially it comes out of the general fund, and then we will get some of it reimbursed to us according to the share that the city pays for the 911 center operations.
So do we know about how much we'll get back as of yet?
We'll be getting about 32% back of the total. I'm sorry, about 37% back of the total.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any more discussion? All in favor? It passes 5-0. Thank you. Mr. Kerr.
And the final one is again another lease agreement, and this one is for $2,256 per month lease agreement on that tower.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, that's LLC, doing business as Circle K Store 27451274175 Salem Road, Covington, Georgia 316. Owner Circle K Stores, Inc., David Rader, District 2. Final reading.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the final reading for the alcohol license for Flash Floods LLC, doing business as Circle K Store, number 2745127 at 4175 Salem Road, Covington, Georgia 30016, where the owner is Circle K Stores, Inc., David Rader, in District 2.
Thank you. Can I get a second, please? It's been motioned by Commissioner Mason and second by Commissioner Henderson. All in favor? Passes 5-0. Thank you. First reading, Convenience Store, Inc., doing business as Jones Petroleum, Covington, 387 Highway 11 North, Social Circle, Georgia 30025. Owner Jones Petroleum, Kenneth R. Johnson, District 1. First reading. Thank you. This is the opportunity, citizens' comments, where we let citizens come up to talk about any topic. Please state your name, your address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes. 3 minutes. 3 minutes to do so.
Barbara Morgan, 2158 East Street, Covington, Georgia.
Thank you, ma'am.
The Public Facilities Authority agenda. I mean, no offense, I don't know who was responsible for this, but if anyone meant it to be enlightening to the citizens, it failed miserably. There's no delineation of the projects, no cost estimates, no projected beneficiaries, nothing that says how it would affect our bond rating, whether it's SPLOST worthy, whether there are grants. This doesn't work if you want to sell anything to the citizens, and I would strongly object to going forward with this kind of agenda. We need more information, and you could maybe get some support for your projects if we knew more about them. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Citizen comments? Anyone else? Citizen comments? Thank you. Commissioner comments. Guys, remember, 4 minutes. We do have executive session tonight, 4 minutes. Commissioner Cowan? Nothing? Okay. Commissioner Henderson? Nothing. Commissioner Sanders?
I don't really have a comment. It's more of a, I want to inform the citizens that on this Saturday at 10 o'clock with Rockdale, in partnership with Rockdale County, Congressman Hank Johnson will be speaking on the stimulus package for small businesses and how to receive those funds. So make sure you tune in this Saturday on Rockdale County's website.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Mason?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to comment to Ms. Morgan. As chairman of the Public Facilities Authority, I will definitely take note of that and make sure that we do a better job going forward. It is a fairly new authority. We just started in September of 2020. And so this was actually really our first official business. The previous meetings, we just elected officials. And so it's brand new to us as well, even having this authority. And so I'll definitely take that into consideration and make sure that going forward, we do a better job at addressing that concern on behalf of our citizens. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Edwards? Thank you. Wow. I don't have anything tonight. We do have a need for executive session, possible land purchase, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it is land purchase, right? It's land purchase. Lord, no. Lord, County Manager said land purchase, so it's land purchase. I seek a motion that we move into executive session, please. It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards, second by Commissioner Mason. All in favor?